mine for decades, more than 2 decades. I've listened to you. I've followed you. I've read your fabulous books that you sent me. Right there it is. And I really wonder because things are moving so fast. How many people are really paying attention to the money that they lost in their 401k or IRA in this last week? And there's so much more, stagflation, inflation, fuel's up 68%, and all of the stats. But the numbers are scary, and they look worse to me than 2008. And the panic is starting again, right? I just wanted to take it right from there. What do you think about that at this point?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on. I mean, they always say don't fight the Fed. And right now the Fed is raising interest rates. And, they printed $9 trillion over the last decade or so, but now they're going to shred 5 trillion of it. So they call that QT, quantitative tightening. And so just like with quantitative easing, they printed money in qualitative or quantitative tightening, they're going to literally shred money. They just let this money roll off the books. And so you take 5 trillion out of the economy and you raise interest rates as high as they're going, where the economy basically will slow down or probably go into a recession, possibly a depression. It's a scary time, especially if you're in or near retirement. Because see, if you're 30 years old, this is just a downward market. Market will come back, always does. But if you're in or near retirement and you're taking money out of a portfolio, what people don't realize is it's no longer dollar cost averaging. It is now dollar cost ravaging. And that's the recipe to run out of money. The other thing people underestimate is how long the market can stay down. The European stock market has been down for over 20 years. The Japanese stock market has been down for over 30 years. So what I say to retirees, I say, okay, well, you say a market always goes back up. What if it takes 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, 15 years? We did have the lost decade. That wasn't too long ago, where for 10 years, the market did nothing. It stayed down just stayed down. What if that happens and you're in retirement? So, there is a formula on how to retire the right way based in math and science, not based on someone's opinion. And really, Paychecks and Playchecks lays it out in 4 really simple steps is how it concludes. So.
Well, your title, it was like, prophetic, really, because you're talking about what happened to happily ever after. And it seems that it's, health, wealth, all the levels is so radically changing. And, you look at even Social Security. Do you think it's going to even survive? Or pensions, right? Is the weak legs of the stool that you always talk about.
Yeah, I do think Social Security will survive. Benefits are either going to be reduced or taxes are going to have to go up. I mean, I could fix Social Security is not our major problem. Medicare's the big problem. Okay. I don't know how to solve Medicare, but I could fix Social Security in less than 15 minutes. We're just going to have to raise the retirement age, not on you, not on me, but on our kids. My dad got Social Security at 65. I don't get full Social Security till I'm 67. Shouldn't my daughter have to wait till she's 69 or 70 to get? I mean, people are living longer. We just got to understand that. Now, the Democrats will show the Republicans pushing Granny off the cliff, and no, they're not going to push Granny off the cliff. But if we don't do some things, everybody's going to get hurt. Like if they do nothing, then benefits will be cut 25%. So what if we said, okay, well, instead of cutting benefits 25%, we're going to cut benefits 5% by raising the retirement age by 2 years on younger people. We're going to have to increase the tax. Right now you pay 7.5% or so, and we might have to raise that to 8.5%, or we might have to tax. It right now goes to 147,000. Maybe it has to go to 227,000. I don't know, but just a couple minor tweaks would save Social Security for the next 100 years, and most people wouldn't even notice it. They really wouldn't. So we don't have to make huge changes to fix Social Security, but Medicare, holy cow! I'm hoping Apple or Amazon or somebody figures it out, because the government isn't going to figure it out, and I can't
No,
figure it.
no.
That's the big. It's always been healthcare. That's the big problem in America.
That's great point. And it shocks me because I've been doing this 32 years and seen thousands of portfolios, and how people, you go to school, you learn how to make money, you get out of school, and then they make money and they give it to somebody else to gamble, and they don't want to even look. People don't even want to look at their 401k right now, right?
Yeah,
There's
and
so much fear.
and that's sad. And there are places. See, I'm 75% retired. So I play golf 5 days a week. I play pickleball 2 days a week. And I just do this kind of a little bit on the side now. This used to be what I did every single day. And now I do it a little on the side, but I'm 75% retired. And so for me, protecting my wealth is more important to me than building my wealth further. I lost my best golfing buddy at 56. I lost another golfing buddy who's 41. He got COVID, died.
Wow.
Lost my mom, lost my dad. All of a sudden, I'm sitting there thinking, hey, this life thing isn't a forever deal. Like, I don't know how many more years I got. Am I really trying to be the richest guy in the cemetery, or would I like to have a rich life? And that's that. No, this is serious. This is a conversation I
That's
had with
good.
myself, and I decided I don't want to be the richest guy in the cemetery. I want to live a great life. And so now I'm playing golf 5 days a week. I'm doing what I want to do. My wife and I leave on Saturday for Hawaii. I'm speaking over there, so I will speak in Hawaii and Greece, and there's certain places I'll still go. But what I'm trying to say is, with my money, here's my philosophy. I want to make as much as I can make. If I can make 5%, 10%, 20%, 30%, I want to make as much as I can make. But just as important, well, for me, more important, I don't want to lose what I've already got. Well, guess what? Vanguard can't do that for me. E-Trade can't do that for me. Ken Fisher can't do that for me. That's what the insurance industry can do with guarantees and some of the annuities. I can have unlimited upside with no downside risk. Yeah, the fees are a little higher in that type of annuity, but if I don't like fees, there are lots of annuities that don't even have fees. Most people don't know that most annuities don't even have fees. Okay, a single premium immediate annuity is not a fee product. If you're guaranteed $2,000 a month for the rest of life, that's exactly what you're going to get. A deferred income annuity is not a fee product. A fixed annuity is not a fee product. A base fixed indexed annuity is not a fee product. There's only two annuities that even have fees. Variable annuities have fees, and then some optional riders, but you don't even have to take those. So this whole argument, and by the way, I don't sell any annuities. I don't sell financial products. What I do is I do the research. I read the white papers of the leading PhDs in the world who've studied retirement, and they're unanimous. There's a simple formula. And you know what I like about Paychecks and Playchecks? It concludes with 4 simple steps. I'll give you the steps and we can talk about them one at a time. Step number 1, you need to cover your basic living expenses in retirement with guaranteed lifetime income. So the first step in the whole deal is figure out how much money do you need every month to live your normal retirement. And that should be covered not with stock market, not with real estate, not with bonds. That should be covered with guaranteed lifetime income. Now, there are 3 sources of guaranteed lifetime income. The first source is Social Security. Well, we just talked about Social Security, but what is Social Security? It's a lifetime income annuity. It's a guaranteed paycheck for life, so it counts. The second source is a pension, which you talked about. Well, what is a pension? A pension is a lifetime income annuity. It's a guaranteed paycheck for life. So you take your minimum living expenses, you subtract out your Social Security, subtract out your pension, whatever you're short, you're supposed to go find an insurance company and buy some form of lifetime income annuity. And if you do that, by the way, what the research shows is your performance of your portfolio is going to be better. Your portfolio performance will go up. The risk will go down. And the reason is because inside of a portfolio, the way that income annuity functions, it functions like a AAA rated bond because it's guaranteed every single month that you're breathing, that check is coming. But with a triple C rated yield, the payout rate is much higher than you're going to get in a money market fund or a CD or a government bond with 0 standard deviation. It has no interest rate risk. If bonds go up, if bond interest rates go up, the value of bonds goes down. But in annuities, if the interest rate goes up, the value does not go down, and there's no interest rate risk. So step number 1 is cover those basic living expenses in retirement with guaranteed lifetime income. Step number 2, you want to optimize the rest of the portfolio to protect yourself against inflation. Because see, in retirement, you just don't want to have income for the rest of your life. You want to have increasing income for the rest of your life. And we can discuss, there's several ways to do that. Step number 3, you must have a plan for long-term care. No retirement plan is complete without a plan for long-term care. It's the number 1 thing most people forget about that can wipe out their entire life's work. And step number 4, the most efficient way to transfer wealth to children, grandchildren, and charities is with life insurance. See, I tell people all the time, don't leave your kids any money. You're not supposed to leave them any money. You're supposed to spend every last nickel you got. Leave them life insurance because you can do that for pennies on the dollar. And I'll just use me as an example. We got 4 kids. So one day we're sitting around saying, how much should we leave the kids? My wife said, I don't know. What do you think? I said, well, if we bought a $1 million second to die life insurance policy, policy, name the 4 kids as beneficiary. When we're both gone, they're going to get $1 million tax free. I mean, that's $250,000 a piece tax free plus whatever's left over. I said, let's start there. So we bought a $1 million second and die life insurance policy, name the 4 kids as beneficiary. That policy is completely paid up. Do you know what the total cost of that $1 million policy was? $150,000. So now think about that. For 15 cents on the dollar, we get to transfer $1 million tax free to our kids. But here's the best part. Who gets to spend the other $850,000? We do. So what I try to do is to show people how to get the most for the least in retirement, because that's what it's all about. See, there's no dress rehearsal. There's no second chance. You got to get it right the first time. And that's what I write about. That's what I speak about. And that's how I live my life. I'm not just talking the talk. I'm walking the walk. I own 11 annuities. I have millions of dollars of cash value in life insurance because I want to have tax-free income in retirement. And by the way, most of my annuities are income annuities inside of Roth IRAs. So I'm going to have tax-free income for the rest of my life from my annuities. I'm going to have tax-free income for the rest of my life in my life insurance policy. Yes, I own dividend-paying stocks. Yes, I own some real estate. You know, it should never be a decision of stocks or annuities. It should always be stocks and annuities, real estate and annuities. You know, it's just, and I'm not the one saying this. This is what the research of the leading PhDs around the world have to say.
But you say it like nobody else does, and I so appreciate that. The way, you know, the guaranteed paycheck and taking the worry out, and you say, you know, annuities insure your investments, and I mean, it's hard for people to really understand that. And I didn't really find out later to life about the, you know, IULs, Index Universal Life, and the tax-free income that has long-term care in it. I mean, it was like hidden. It was like a hidden treasure. And the interest rates are, you know, amazing, really.
Yeah. And the reason more people don't know about it is because you're never going to hear Wall Street talking about annuities or life insurance. Although, you know what? Barclays just came out with a white paper saying you shouldn't have bonds. You should replace your bonds with annuities. BlackRock came out with a white paper saying you should own bonds. Annuities should be in favor of bonds. Roger Ibbotson, a PhD, wrote a whole white paper that annuities have outperformed bonds for the last 40 years and are likely to do so for the next 40 years. The Wall Street Journal just this year said you should replace some of your bonds with annuities. So again, these are people who don't care whether you like annuities or not. BlackRock doesn't like annuities, but they know the math. It's all math and science. And when people understand the math that backs up life insurance and annuities, they're no longer confused about it. It's very simple. And that's what I try to do in Paychecks and Playchecks, was make it very, very simple, because the average person isn't reading the white papers of Dr. Moshe Milevsky, Dr. David Babel, Dr. Wade Pfau, Dr. Michael Finke, Nobel Prize winners William Sharp and Robert C. Merton. But guess what? I read those, and then I take it, I put it into English so everybody can understand it. And that's, I mean, again, these aren't my opinions. This is math and science. And so I will take on anybody. In fact, you know, I have a lot of people, because I've trained hundreds of thousands of people, and you get people who hate annuities. Oh, I hate annuities. I hate annuities. I say, okay, I'm going to give you a chance to prove me wrong right now. And I'll let you call in Susie Orman, Dave Ramsey, and Ken Fisher to help you. Is that fair? Okay, here's all you got to do. You build a portfolio that you think I cannot beat. Yeah, put the good stocks in there. Throw in some crypto. Sure, some real estate. Yeah, do that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to reach into your portfolio. I'm going to remove some of your bonds. I'm going to replace it with some guaranteed lifetime income from an annuity. Do you know what that'll do to every single one of your portfolios? It'll lower the risk and increase the returns. Mm-hmm. Now, if I'm wrong, somebody should be able to prove me wrong just like that. But you know what? I've issued that challenge tens of thousands of times all over the world. I've never had anybody prove me wrong. It'd be like saying, prove that the sky isn't blue. You know what I mean? It's math and science. It's ridiculous that people haven't figured it out yet.
That, you know, but if you put it really simple, and I tell, you know, everybody needs to read this book for sure. Because it's, you know, it's clarity. And you were talking about increasing income. Why is that an advantage? Right.
Well, we're facing inflation. I mean, you know, my wife decided to have our kitchen remodeled. We just got this house, and so we're having the kitchen remodeled. So we can't eat in. We have to eat out every meal now for about 3-4 days. Well, we went out last night. I just had a burger, and she just had some. Yeah, it was $50 for just the two of us. That used to cost $23, $24, $25. Today we went out for lunch. It was $60, and we didn't go to a fancy place at all. Not fancy at all. I mean, I had linguine with some sausage. She had a salad. I had iced tea. She had a beer, and it was $60. I mean, it's crazy. So that's why you have to have increasing income, because I feel bad for the people who are still getting the same income they got 10 years ago, and they have to buy gas today. They have to buy food today. No, you've got to have increasing income, or you're going to lose the inflation battle over time.
Yeah, I feel bad for a lot of people because I see they're just going off a cliff and nobody's really telling them what to do, and then the catastrophic illness situation.
Yep.
Before the pandemic, it was 7 out of 10, and my family was a nightmare. My mommy had cancer, and it was like, this was in 2010, $90,000 for 5 days of chemo, and she had chemo every month. So $1 million is not a lot of money when people think, oh, I'll insure with $1 million. They don't understand. And now I bet you after the pandemic, it's like now 9 out of 10 go to a nursing home, right?
Well, the deal is, it's so expensive. People say, well, long-term care insurance is too expensive. I say, if you think long-term care insurance is expensive, man, you ought to try not having it, because I made my parents buy long-term care insurance 18 years ago. They didn't want to. It's too expensive. We'll never need it. It's an insurance company rip off. My dad said all those words to me. I made them buy it. Well, guess what? They were both in assisted living, $10,000 a month. There were years my dad didn't make $10,000 a year. He was a teacher in a small town in Minnesota. $10,000 a month. I cannot imagine what their retirement would have been if they didn't have those policies. I mean, that literally saved the family. It really did. It paid out over $500,000, or right about $500,000 for their long-term care.
Wow. And you know what? And it's just like when you're 20, you can't imagine what it's like when you're
Right.
50. And people don't really understand that's a risk. And it's not that I was smart, but just doing this 30 years and then seeing, and this is what makes me sad, is people end up losing their money at the end of the life in a
Right.
nursing home, probate, or the Great Recession, right?
Right. Right. And it's sad, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Right.
And what I've been trying to do for the last, 30 years is educate as many people. And I focus on educating the advisors so then they can, advise their clients. But I did have a PBS TV special, Don't Worry, Retire Happy, that played in 80 million homes in the US and Canada. So I've been out there in front of millions of consumers trying to help them. It doesn't have to be this way. You can invest. You can be secure in your investments. You do not have to take risk if you don't want to. And if you want, be like me. I got about 60% of my portfolio totally protected, never lose it. And I got 40% that I'm in real estate. I'm in dividend paying stocks. I even own a little bit of crypto. I've always said a 1% exposure is okay by me. I don't do more than 1%, but I put 1% in crypto. And, so I'm not against other investments. What I'm against is people losing money in retirement and taking money out of a portfolio in a down market. You should never, ever, ever take money out of a down market portfolio. So if you don't believe in annuities, there are other strategies. You can use a buffer strategy where you use a cash value life insurance policy or a reverse mortgage or a money market fund, something that you put money in that never goes down, that when the market's going up, you take money out of your portfolio, but when the market goes down, you take money out of the buffer asset. That's another strategy. I don't think it does as well as the annuity strategy, but if people hate annuities, use a buffer strategy, but do not ever, ever, ever take money out of your portfolio when it's going down. That's how people run out of money.
Right. That's one right there. They go with the fear and the shock. And there's a lot of rumors, a lot of fears going around, like the dollar. Like some people think that they're trying to kill the dollar, get rid of it. It's really fiat anyway, right?
Yeah,
And
but let me take that one away. See,
good,
for
good.
the dollar to lose the reserve currency status, there has to be something else that will take its place. Well, I don't think the Chinese yuan is going to take the place. I
You
don't think
don't.
the Russian ruble is going to take its place. I don't think the euro. They're all those countries are worse off than we are. Japan worse off than we are. And Bitcoin not stable enough to be a dollar. So I, at least as far as I can see, I'm not saying never, never, but I'm saying for the next 3, 5, 10 years, I don't see anything that's going to take the dollar. I mean, they've been trying to, wreck it for years. And you got Russia and China, and they got a strategy, and you got the Middle East, and they got a strategy. But nobody's coming together to, I just don't see it. I don't see
Okay.
it. You got to show me what's going to replace the dollar, and I don't see that.
Okay. Well, that's a little comforting because it's a little worrisome. And people Americans are struggling to save. So here are these people living paid, and they can barely, what is it? One out of six won't be able to pay their mortgage.
Yeah.
I don't quote
Well,
me on the stat, but what do you think
you
about
know,
that?
I do have a free webinar that people can watch on how to
Okay,
become a millionaire, because I do
there you
really
go.
think it's simple in America to become a millionaire today. Every one of your listeners, every single one of them, will make millions of dollars over their lifetime. The question is not how much did you make, how much did you keep? And unfortunately,
Yeah.
most people don't keep enough. And I share with people how they can make more money. I show them how they should spend more wisely and how they should put their money into appreciating assets. See, too many people spend way too much on their cars. I want to buy a brand new BMW, brand new Mercedes. Well, if they would have taken that money and actually invested it, they would have become a millionaire just on one or two cars. And so I tell, and the other thing that wipes people out is divorce. So I say the moral of the story is drive a used car and stick with your first spouse. But no, but in all seriousness, what people need to do is put their money into appreciating assets. See, cars, boats, jet skis, RVs, iPhones, shoes, clothes, handbags, they all go down in value every day. They're depreciating assets. And if you're putting the majority of your money into depreciating assets, you will never become wealthy. What you want to do is limit the money going into depreciating assets and maximize the money going into appreciating assets. So anyway, they can go to tomhegna.com/webinars.
Right.
Don't even need a credit card. These are really for financial advisors, but I've got consumers that watch that stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And so there's one on there on how to become a millionaire. It says help your clients become a millionaire. And it's me training advisors on how to teach their clients how to become millionaires, but clients can watch it too. It's free.
Right. And we'll have all your info in the notes below so people can watch you. And I just want to ask you if if you gave one piece of advice, on safe money, what would you say to people?
I would say in retirement, step number one of paychecks and playchecks is cover your basic living expenses in retirement with guaranteed lifetime income. If they did that one thing, that would keep them from becoming totally destitute. Now, you have to follow up with step two, which is invest to protect against inflation. Because, like I said, you just don't want a paycheck. You want to have an increasing paycheck for the rest of your life. But if you can have an increasing paycheck for the rest of your life and then manage risks like market risk, withdrawal rate risk, inflation, taxes, a sequence of returns risk, and I teach people how to do that in paychecks and playchecks. Those two things, increasing income and manage risk in retirement. That's what retirement's all about. It's not about having $1 million or $2 million or $5 million. That's not what it's about, because those people are miserable. See, people with assets are miserable in retirement. People with income are happy. Think about it. Who are the happiest retired people you know? Retired teachers, retired firefighters, retired policemen, retired government workers. Why? They've got guaranteed lifetime income. They got pensions. They got annuities that are coming every single month. They don't worry. Market's down 40%. Great. I'm going to play another 18 holes of golf with my buddies. And that's what they do. And they're happier. And now the research shows people who buy annuities live longer. And I'm not going to get into it, but I mean, there's been multiple articles written.
Oh,
Freakonomics did a whole thing. University of Chicago did a thing. There was an article in the Journal for Financial Service Professionals that in America, a 65-year-old male who purchases a lifetime income annuity is likely to live 25% longer than somebody who
what?
doesn't. I mean,
Wow.
it's all math and science. I'm not
Oh,
making this
that's
stuff up.
great. Oh, I like that
I
information.
think it's 20% longer, 20% longer
Hey,
than somebody who doesn't. But I mean, it's
well,
significant.
it is significant. Health is wealth, and knowing that you're not going to outlive your money does something, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, look, you don't have as much stress. You don't
Hmm.
worry. And because you're being paid to live, guess what? Many people choose to live differently. They watch what they eat. They exercise. They call the doctor when they're not feeling well. And all those little things tend to cause them to live longer. And this is
Right.
nothing new. Back in 1811, in the book Sense and Sensibility, Jane Austen said, people who have annuities live forever. You can't even get rid of these things. They come over and over and over. There's no getting rid of it. She wrote that in 1811. People don't know.
Wow.
Annuities have been around for thousands of years. The Roman Empire issued lifetime income annuities because, see, running out of money has been the number one concern of people ever since there's been people and there's been money. And there's only one product in the world you can buy that will guarantee you'll never run out of money. And that's a lifetime income annuity. It's the only thing you
Yeah.
can buy. Guarantees you'll never, ever, ever, ever run out of income for the rest of your life.
You just sing that song so good. Here's a little PS that people ask me a lot. What do you think about gold and silver?
Well, I mean, I own a little bit of gold and silver. It's been doing nothing. In
Little.
fact, with all this
Going,
inflation, gold's been going down, silver's been going down. I mean, silver is under 20 bucks an ounce, I think. I mean,
yeah.
or maybe it's
About
22 bucks.
17.
But I mean, yeah,
Something.
17. It's really low, and gold's been going down. Bitcoin's been going down. Everything's been going down. Think about it. Stocks gone down. Bonds have gone down. Oil's gone down. Gold's gone down. Silver's gone down. Bitcoin's gone down. You know what didn't go down? My life insurance policy didn't go down. My annuities didn't go down. Isn't that nice? You know, it's nice that part of my portfolio that I can say, wow, I am so glad that's not going down. And then when the market's going up, guess what? Those things go up. They might not go up as much as the market, but they go up every year. But this stuff goes like this. And I don't want to live a retirement when my money's going like that.
Exactly.
I can have part of my portfolio doing that, but I don't want to be depending on that to pay for my house and my car and my phone and my internet and my food. No.
Right.
That's not what the research shows. And I'm a math and science person, and math and science is fully on board with what I share in Paychecks and Playchecks.
Well, Tom, that you just sing that song so good, and I really appreciate. Is there any PS you want to leave for everybody on? What's your contact below too?
I mean, I'm easy to find, tomhegna.com, and I got products, I got blogs, I got a free YouTube channel. It's got hundreds of videos there. You can watch that. But I'm not out. I made my money. I'm not out trying to make a bunch more money. I mean, I'll take money when people hire me, and I'll go out and speak. I'm going to Hawaii. I'll do that. I'll speak there. But now it's more about living a rich life, and it's about protecting and then distributing my wealth to myself, my wife, and then eventually to our kids.
Well, you've passed the legacy on to me just by what you've taught and what I've learned. And I could say that what I've learned from you, I've been able to help thousands of people with annuities. And I'm honored to have you here. And I do look forward to having you come back, talk about that, everyone becoming a millionaire,
it's very simple. I can help anybody who really wants to be a millionaire. It is not hard. It's simple, not easy, but it's simple.
Right.
It's a simple process. You follow this simple process. Might take you 20 years, might take you 30 years, however long. But I mean, I can help people become millionaires for sure.
Fabulous. Tom, it's a real blessing to have you here, and you enjoy your trip to Hawaii and all the people that you get to help over there too.
All right. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you. It's been a joy to have you. There's so much to learn about healthy money. I hope today's discussion brings you one step closer to securing and protecting your future. So you can get started on the right foot, go to meetwithkrismiller.com and schedule your free financial fitness strategy session. Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to Money 911 so you don't miss our next episode, which includes health, wealth, and peace of mind.